What is the deal? What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Williams, and today, as always, I'm joined by Shannon, the Million Dollar Man Tynes,
Make money, money, make money, money, money.
and Levon, regular ass Twitter name Maynard.
Yep. Boring as always. Here I am.
I had to use that one. I liked that at the end of the last show. He's like, "Is this my regular ass name?"
Regular ass name.
All right. This week we have an action-packed show for you. At the top of the show, in the bluff or bottom line up front, for the uninitiated, we will discuss the FBI's ability to read your private Signal app messages and Cyberpunk 2077 source code being stolen and then sold for the highest bidder. Uh, in topic one, Levon will break down the concept of virtual CISOs. And in topic two, Shannon will go into the details concerning the hacking of a Florida water plant. And then, as always, it'll be followed by what we've been playing. But first, how's everybody's week?
No complaints from me, man. Didn't study. I know how to.
Oh man,
No, didn't
oh
study.
man, how you gonna be somebody's virtual CISO? You ain't studying.
I don't know. I could be one of them Jamaicans. I could hold down for a job. You know what I mean? For scissors if I do that. But no, I didn't study at all this week. But yeah, family's good, man. It's been crazy cold over here though. It's let's see here, 3 degrees right now. I think it is.
Ooh,
Wind chills like -6 or something like that. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so good old Colorado. You know.
nah, no thank you, no thank you.
I like how Shannon put that new big ass TV right behind him as his backdrop.
Yeah, showing it off.
I had to get to a different room. I had to get to a different room. I like my basement. I don't have a door on my basement. So for me, I came into the bedroom now because I could shut the door or whatever, and the kids be downstairs and don't hear them. But yeah, I just had to change up the room. So
Yeah, so many rooms. How many basements you got? That's the question.
no, it ain't like that. Look, I got to share the basement even. I got 2 kids living down there, man.
Oh man. That's the life right
Well,
there.
you
Got west
know,
wings, east wings, north wings, south wings.
yeah. When last time you seen the kids? they in a whole different wing.
They stay
Whole
in the
different
rest of
wing.
it. I don't pay attention to them. No, I'm joking.
What about you, Levon? What you got going on?
Dang, I just been chilling out. Not to get too much into it. I've been very actively watching there's some impeachment trials going on right now. Not to get too
Oh man,
political or anything, but I've been kind of seeing what that's all about as it affects us and other people. But besides that, I've been chilling out, kicking back. Um, uh, what I got going on this week? Uh, Same boring routine, I suppose. Been kind of trapped inside the house a little bit with the COVID restrictions, and go on walks every now and then with the dog, with the wife, hanging out, enjoying some quality time. But they're pretty chill over here. Not much going on. Anything
All
going
right.
on with you, Ryan, in the desert over there?
man, it's warm. At least there's that. Like so, I've been trying to get my run on. They had a 5K this past weekend, or this weekend. It's a long weekend for me, so I ran that. Uh, I won a T-shirt, so did everybody
Ooh,
else. So
ooh,
we all got
got
the
a
same T-shirt.
Can you say you
participation
won it?
trophy.
Yeah. Can you say you won it if
Yeah.
everybody got it?
Uh,
Like,
Hey, listen, I got there before they ran out, so that means I ain't coming last. That's all I got to say.
That's
gotcha.
right.
But aside from that, man, just playing video games, trying to decompress. I think I convinced my employer to pay for the GAC certified forensic analyst, so the GCFA. I'm gonna see if it
Nice.
sticks. So if it does, that's why I'm taking a break. I gotta let my brain relax before I jump into that. Uh, but aside from that, man, just long weekend,
Mm,
long
mm,
weekend.
long weekend.
So people
Hey,
were
I
not
saw.
seeing it for the first time on video. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. I want to give you a quick shout out too. I saw that it was 5 course breakfast meal that you had
Oh yeah,
you shared with us the other day. I was like, dang, he's like living like the lap of luxury over there, getting these like
yeah,
waffles and eggs and potatoes and all this kind of stuff. Looking
yeah, man.
looking pretty nice.
Breakfast. It was a Valentine's Day brunch or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was sitting there with my boss.
That's not awkward.
It was like, all right, well, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh man,
So,
that's good
but
though.
it's
That's
all
good.
good. It's all good.
Quality time with the boss.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna be a long year, but about a quarter of it's done. So it's all good. But yeah, so we're on video now. So hopefully this does record and does go well. We will see. So if you're
Right.
hearing this, because the audio is gonna work. If you're hearing it and you never get a chance to see it, well, it's because I messed up. And that's why I should be a producer. So we will see how this works out as a little experiment. But so up top, we have two hot topics. I'm calling them the bluffs. So bluff one, apparently the FBI can read your private signal messages. So we talk about this time and time again about how your data isn't necessarily secure. There's always the ability for people to get in there, make sure you patch your stuff. This is a prime example. So you have people who are moving to Signal because they don't believe that WhatsApp or Wicker and all those other platforms are very safe. You even had Elon Musk tweet out about Signal taking over the private messaging game. Well, apparently, at least in older iPhones, it looks as though in the iPhone 11, the receipts, so to speak, so the messages from a gun trafficking, or I guess you can't really call them gun traffickers till they're convicted, but some suspects in the gun trafficking case, their signal messages are being used as evidence. So the website, let me pull this up. It's a new format, so I gotta rearrange
Mhm.
my pages. So the website was Forbes, right? So I trust Forbes. Their information is pretty good. What they're saying is they obtained court documents that showed that the messages were in there from a 2020 case in New York for gun traffickers. They said from the metadata that they could see on the photos, it appears as though came from iPhone 11 or a iPhone SE, and it was in partial AFU or after first unlock, and the messages were plain as day, as well as their metadata attached to it as well. So apparently they can. Uh, Forwards reached out to Apple to find out if Apple knew anything about it. Apple said that they don't believe that that's a case with properly patched phones. There's no evidence that it happens to the iPhone 12, their flagship phone, and they said basically make sure you patch your devices. So that's
Mm.
pretty much all they would talk about. And then obviously the FBI is not going to give away their secrets. So what do you guys think about this?
Go ahead, Levon.
Mm. Uh, Dang. Well, I don't know. I don't know my thoughts on this. I think it's so so I'm kind of like just kind of glazing over the article as well that you sent, and it's definitely interesting. I mean, obviously the FBI is using this for supposedly seemingly um, good purpose, good use to catch some bad guys that are in the process of doing some illegal shenanigans. But obviously, this is kind of concerning as far as a regular user. Not that I use iPhone, but just being a regular cell phone user, concerned about my data being captured by the FBI. Just just uh, capture my communications to maybe some of my loved ones or anything like that. They can easily access using some of this technology. But I mean, you know, I don't know. I think maybe there's a balance between um, the good of the people versus like privacy, as far as like maintaining security against some would be some malicious actors out there that have have some bad plans for us. Imagine like if somebody, I don't know, was in sort of like nuclear arms trade and they're sending messages on their iPhone or something like that. Obviously, you kind of want to know what they're up to. I think that's good that they are able to capture that kind of information. But at the same time, for privacy sakes, uh, it's obviously kind of concerning that they'd be able to access some of this data. But I have a little bit mixed feelings about it. I don't know. I have to kind of think about it for a little bit, but it's an interesting story. I mean, obviously, we've known for years that FBI and all these other investigation units have access to, these uh, uh, digital content, able to access our phones and accessing cameras in the streets and seeing where you're at a certain time, accessing like satellites and tracking your GPS signal and all this kind of stuff, satellite signals and all this, what towers you're bouncing off of, all that. So it's something that's not like brand new to us in the general public, especially with the Snowden thing and all that. But I think it's an interesting story. You have much thoughts on it, Shannon?
So I do have a few thoughts on this, right? So this is one of those things that we've talked about it on the podcast before, on the show before, right? So don't put something out there in the digital world, right? That you don't want out there, right? That you don't think you would be willing to say publicly or anything like that, right? So
Right.
that's kind of how I treat all my communications, right? Like I got some stuff. Here's the thing: I will never run for public office because I got some stuff out there. I got some stuff I can put in some text and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that comes back. That could definitely be misconstrued if it's only given in bits and pieces, right? And I know we've talked before about like the Patriot Act, right? So at what point, like what you're saying, Levon, at what point are you willing to say, okay, I need this for security versus, my privacy, right? For me, I'm a law-abiding citizen, right? At least I think I am, right? Of
Yeah. We
everything.
don't know yet for sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah. At
we
least I
might.
think I am.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
there'll be something on the books. There'll be something on the books in the 1870s. I probably, haven't done. I'm in an interracial marriage, so I probably can't go to some states, right? So,
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah.
one of those things where, what are you willing to give up? And for me, um, I lean more to the side where I don't mind this as much because I want the security, right? My biggest concern is what they can do with this information. You have to assume that everyone in the FBI, everyone in the police department, sheriff's office, any type of law enforcement, you have to assume that they're all law abiding and doing the right thing. We know that's not the case, right?
Mhm.
2020 taught us that. It showed us that, right?
Right.
You have to assume that everybody's doing everything the right way, which you can't. So my big concern would be whether or not somebody takes something that I have done, have written down, have said, and maybe altered it. Because you ever seen those what do they call them? The deep fake videos and whatnot, where people
Oh
Right.
yeah.
stuff that's not, you know what I mean? Like, what's to
Mhm.
say I don't end up on one of those, right? Where I say I'm gonna do something illegal. I'm not even gonna give an example just so it can't be.
Right. Because I was like, oh, we're gonna record that.
No, no, no. Really, see, that's what I'm talking about. Don't put it out there in the digital world. But that would be my biggest concern. But for me, I lean toward more towards the side of security, right? Like I want these alleged gun runners caught, right? Like I'm a legal gun owner. I think I'm a responsible gun owner, right? But not everybody is like that, and that's not who they're targeting, right? Being gun runners, you're not looking for the legal people, right? To say, okay, I'm going to sell
Right.
the good guys. I'm going to sell all them the guns, right? That's just not how that goes. So for me, again, I know I'm not. I know I'm in the minority with that, right? Because a lot of people be like, "Oh, I want my privacy. I want this, that, and the third." Well, you
Right.
want it when it's convenient, right? Like after. So here's the thing: after 9/11 happened, like how many people were all for? Yes, let's go find them, regardless, right?
Right.
I mean, you heard it
Right.
all the
Whatever it
time,
takes.
all the time. Exactly, exactly. Because there was an event that affected you at that time. But in this relative time of peace, I'll say relative peace, right? People are more worried about their own privacy and their own security, right? Like I'm not. Why are you looking at me? I'm not someone who's doing something illegal. Well, I don't know until I know, right? I don't
Right.
know until I look into you, right? But again, it goes
Mhm.
back to what am I going to do with that information? If I want to get you, I'm going to get you. You're going to be on a deep fake somewhere saying stuff about circus peanuts. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
but
'Cause
but
that,
that's kind of my feelings on that, on how that all plays out. Again, I don't put anything out there I wouldn't either say to somebody's face, um, or that I wouldn't say out in the open if need be. Again, that's why I won't run for public office,
hmm
right?
hmm Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Definitely.
I think too. I'm sorry to cut you off, Ryan.
No, you're fine.
I was just going to add to what you were saying, Shannon. There's deep fakes and things like that. I just think technology is getting so advanced. Pretty soon, people can be able to do all kinds of crazy things with your image, and like, you can be able to tell if like a video is actually a real video if somebody composed it, and somehow like, all of a sudden they put a gun in your hand and they're like, or some random like, you know, whatever, you know, Photoshop type thing they put on the video. Just
Just dread, right? Remember we talked about
yeah,
that. Just
right.
dread.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, it's interesting technology, man. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I mean, so much stuff we got going on nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm like you. I'm of two minds. Like obviously, I don't think they're coming after me because I'm not doing anything. Um, but slippery slope. Honestly, don't. I hate to excuse companies because ultimately they need to do their due diligence, right? So the creators of Signal have to go in there, make sure they patch it, make sure it's good to go. Apple needs to make sure they push out patches to 11 or SE or whatever got hit with this. But at the end of the day, the FBI is going to do what the FBI does. These government agencies hire people to break into systems. They're going to just it's an arms race. Every time we come out a patch, they're going to come up with they're going to figure out a new vulnerability, and then aggress on it. And then hopefully they, you know, what I mean, from their perspective, they want to hide it, but then it comes out. Forbes finds a court document that then tells the world like, hey, they're able to get into your stuff because who knows how long they've had this ability.
Right.
So
Right. It's true.
it's not much you could do except for don't send naked pics. Try
That's
that.
right. Yeah. Yeah, Shannon, stop sending me those naked pics, man.
Hey, but again, I don't mind having those out there. So
They were pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. No.
I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
All right, so no segue. Bluff number 2. So hackers claim to have sold Cyberpunk 2077 and Witcher 3 source code. So we've been talking about this every other week or almost every week about all these game companies being targeted because, you know, gaming is a several billion-dollar industry, right? It's in the triple-digit billions. Games make money. What's crazy though is CD Projekt Red, the makers of Cyberpunk, were already in the news because they released 2077 in a state that was almost unplayable to everybody except for they had the best PCs, right? So if you bought it on console, if you're not playing it on next gen, only 1 out of 3 of us was able to find a next gen system, if not 2. Then you're not able to play it. But so they're in hot water for that, and then now there's a lawsuit bubbling up because of the game. There's a class action that's being leveraged against them. But on top of it, there was a vulnerability in their network. Somebody got in, encrypted a few of their systems, was able to steal finance data, game data, apparently, where they got the source code for Witcher 3, Cyberpunk. And I found out that this Witcher 3 was not the one that was already out. This is the Witcher 3 that's coming out with ray tracing. So it's a future build of Witcher 3 is already out in the wild before it even had a chance to get released. There's another one called Iron Throne or Thronebreaker or something like that. I think that's DLC that was going to come out. And then obviously Cyberpunk 2077, even though it was released in a terrible state, it still sold 13 million copies in like 2 weeks. So it was still breaking records, right? So there's still money to be made, especially after they fixed the game. So CD Projekt Red did what we said last week that you should do, put your foot down. They put their foot down, said, no, we're not going to pay. No customer data was compromised to our knowledge. We have backups of all of our stuff. So even though they encrypted our drives, we still have backups. So they did everything right. And they were like, it is what it is. We know that something is going to happen because of this. Apparently the bad actors put it up for $1 million or best offer, or it was $1 million or 500,000 at the least, and then it was like 7 million instant. You give me $7 million, I give you the code today. So apparently it went up for sale and it went right back off the market. So somewhere between $1 million and 7 million is what they're estimating. They made off of the source code for a game they did not create. So it's out there in the wild. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see it kind of bubble up over the next couple of weeks, if not days. People have mods for a game that even come out yet, and like it's gonna be crazy. So I commend them on putting their foot down, and now we will see if this scares the industry. Like, will they toe the line, or will they all back down because of it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's first of all, definitely commend them on able to get through this process without dishing out any money to these ransomware baddies trying to have some amount of money. So I think it's great that they're that they're doing this, that they were able to get through it. They had a nice backup system that they were able to restore their data. It's unfortunate the source code was able to get released. I'm sure people that are technically savvy enough that can make use of that source code, maybe republish the game in some sort of like pirated version. But I think um, I think overall, I think it's a good move. I think that they will benefit more from um, you know, maintaining their I don't know, maintaining their like dignity or maintaining like their you know
I
uh,
guess I wouldn't say integrity. I don't know what that would
yeah,
be.
yeah. I try to think of a way to describe
Yeah.
that, but just being able to like kind of stick it to these ransomware people that everybody's not going to concede to what they're doing and trying to like get money out of these companies. Um, and I actually just finished playing The Witcher 3 uh, just a little while ago, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart to see this game get released. I think it's a pretty good game. It's like it's pretty fun. It's like a pretty much open world kind of like adventure type game where you build up your character, collect items, all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty cool game. But I'm glad that these people weren't able to get money out of them. It's sad that somebody out there, somebody obviously, some company, a group of people that have a lot of money, were able to purchase this from these ransomware uh, ransomware actors, and unfortunately, source code's out there somewhere, and I guess it's time will tell what they do with it and how it affects the company in general. But overall, I think it's a good thing that I think it's a decent ending to the story. But we'll see how actually maybe not exactly the ending yet, but we'll see how it turns out once they if any of the source code gets out there and becomes like I don't know. And it's sad, it's such a sad thing too. But anyway, like there's a lot of people that pirate games anyway, and they find like legit copies that have been manipulated. Like no, whether or not they have the source code, they can just like they have they're tech savvy enough just to get into the code of the software and able to manipulate it enough that they can install it on any system, and don't need any kind of keys and all this kind of stuff. So I know these people out there that can manage that without even having a source code. So I don't think the Witcher group um, actually really lost out on much in general. Um, but I guess time will tell what comes of it. But
So
what you think about it, Shannon?
so I got a couple thoughts on this, right? So like when you first sent this one out, when this one first came out in the group, I was like, well, the money's already been made, was my thinking. You said the Witcher 3 one is not the same one that's out though, Ryan, or it is the same one?
No, it's I guess it's gonna be like the next gen, uh, like remaster
Got
or just prettier. It's gonna be a lot prettier than the last one.
So I mean, it's so the I don't want to say the game is out there, but like the bones are out there already of what's been seen,
Right.
right? But so like when you first sent this out, right? I don't remember if it was you or Levon. I think it was you, wasn't it? With this one, I can't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
when you
think
first sent this
yeah.
one out, I was like, the money's been made already, right? So I was like, Cyberpunk was I called it a failure, right? But 13 million copies is nothing to laugh at. But I read the
Yeah.
reviews on Cyberpunk, and people were not happy about it, right? So it's like one of
Hmm.
those word of mouth things where you'll have people, excuse me, you'll have people that'll be like, well, I wasn't going to buy it anyway, or I already bought it. They already got my money. They're not going to get me more for any more Cyberpunk, right?
Right.
With The Witcher 3, I thought it was the one that was already released a few years ago. And I was like, okay, that money's already been made. So I didn't think it was that big a deal. Now, with what you mentioned last week, with the EU was talking about kind of making it to where nobody would have to pay out for these things, like
Yeah.
Ryan. So
Or they couldn't. It would be
they
illegal
couldn't,
for them to pay
yeah,
out.
it'd be illegal for them
Yeah.
to pay out. This I like to see what they did because they kind of gave them the finger, right? Like, you know what, it is what it is. You do what you got to do, but we we
Hmm.
we're gonna keep moving forward. Now, this could have a couple different effects, right? Like if what the information that they got is terrible, then people will be like, okay, I can't trust the studio anymore to put out a quality game, right? Like if it gets
Mm.
out there, or it can make them do better because now they have to make changes to something that's not already out there in the wild, right? So now they're like, okay, well, now we got to really step our game up and we have to change it to where it's not what's already out there that people have seen that they may or may not have liked.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it could go one of those two ways, right? Hopefully it's the way where they say, okay, let's step it up and let's get better. Let's not be like EA and put out a terrible Madden like they did this last year, right? I go down that road, and have to patch it like every 5 days or whatever it is and do something different. But Yeah, no, good for them. I say good for them. They put their foot down. Was like, hey, do what you do. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
keep it moving. So yeah, I
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I think it's um, man, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say that I hope that they kind of learn from this as well, because obviously, it's good that they had backups and all this kind of stuff, but hopefully they, we talked about last week. Hopefully they actually patch whatever vulnerability they have. Not just leaving it open, like,
Right.
hoping that they don't, reintroduce the, or kind of pretty much
Leave it
attack.
open for reattacks. Yeah, leave it
Yeah,
open.
for
Yeah.
reattack, just reattack the same vulnerability that they got through last time. So hopefully they learn from that as well.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like, so I think in the article they did state that they had fixed the vulnerability. They didn't state what it was, or
Okay.
how the bad actor got in there. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
But they did say that they had fixed it. They had started recover, and then the drives that were locked are just locked. They're like, it is what it is, basically. Um, I think they were just more concerned about the customer data that supposedly did not get leaked, which is good.
Hmm.
But their
Right.
finances and HR and all that other stuff did get leaked. I don't know if you remember way back when Sony got hacked uh, by what we believe to be North Korea because of the movie. It pissed them off. They were releasing people's salaries. They were like showing the disparity between how much the female male CEOs were making and stuff like that. Like they made it very painful for Sony when they released all their data. But
Hmm.
we will see. I'm sure they could. I don't know if they'll get caught, but whoever they sold it to, like uh, source code is specific to the writers, right? So they know what's out there. It's pretty much the code itself is a fingerprint. So if you come out there and make Cyberpunk 3077, they're gonna be like,
That's right. It's
like
like, yeah,
I think we know who bought it, who bought the source code. I think we got them.
right. You're right about that. Yeah,
So,
they should be able to kind of identify if another company, like you said, another company just makes another game that's exactly like the same like characters, but like a different scenery or something.
right,
Like,
right. So it's always gonna be there. It's always gonna have that fingerprint.
right.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good point.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think about it that respect. That's true.
yeah. But like you said, somebody has a lot of money. I don't know who has
Yeah,
between $1 and $7 million for source
right,
code. Like
right, right.
that's a grip. I don't know. I don't know who paid for that. It's probably Russia.
Yeah. And whoever did, they obviously feel like it's an investment that they can make money off of. They can make more than what they paid for it.
Right.
Assumingly, it's like,
It
oh, I
could be
paid a
another.
million.
It
Yeah.
could be another gaming studio too. Don't rule that out,
Right.
right? Like it could be
Right.
another gaming studio that's like, hey, we want to get bigger in the biz or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And that's a risky business right there. If they're like willing to put their I don't know, company stake
Right.
in the offshoot of like bidding for this source code, if they get discovered and then all of a sudden they get, obviously get
but
discovered and then they get in trouble and then the company's like thrown in the trash basically.
you
I
got to
think it's
prove it in court, right? So it's like one
right,
of those
right.
things, you got
It's
to prove
true.
it in court. Samsung and Apple have been in court constantly over the last several years, right? Neither one of them is doing bad. You know
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying? So,
No, you're
I
right.
mean, you got to prove it in court.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm sure that's a hard thing to prove, especially with everybody's buying things with like Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. I think you can track stuff somehow, but it's still kind of like I think it's kind of unregulated and it's kind of hard to like identify exactly who's buying what through those
Right.
methods. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
hopefully some more information will come out by next week so we can kind of follow up. Because this one was moving pretty quick. Like I posted when it was stolen, and then like literally a couple days later, it was like, oh, somebody bought it. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty fast
Yeah.
moving story.
Right.
But
Right.
speaking of like, so this is a good story. Speaking of stories I don't like, we, we can go into the virtual CISO in the
Yeah.
topic one.
Oh, I don't know why you don't like this one, but so this story, this one comes straight from securitymagazine.com, and it's by John Roman, but it's titled "Considering the Value of Leveraging Virtual Chief Information Security Officers VCISO." So it's essentially it's a article describing basically describing the benefit or maybe the business of hiring these, maybe you call them like virtual CISOs to basically they work almost like a consultant or maybe like a part-time CISO, so that they come to your business, they see you've got some vulnerabilities, some security incident, or even if you're being proactive and you're trying to get your systems up to snuff so you don't get compromised, like the people with with the Cyberpunk and all this kind of stuff. You're trying to get your systems up to snuff to make sure they're protected and we're secured. So these CISO, these vCISOs come into your business and they take a look at your network, your infrastructure, and they make recommendations. And since this pandemic, and this article talks about it too, that cyber attacks and data security breaches are at an all-time high due to the increase of remote work. And according to recent Information System Security Association and Enterprise Strategy Group survey, 63% of cybersecurity professionals have seen an increase in cyber attacks and security breaches related to the pandemic. So we've seen like an influx of attacks. People are working remotely. Everybody's connecting to their job site remotely, connected to the VPN, or maybe they're just right over the internet. They're downloading files, they're sending emails, they're having these Zoom calls, they're having Teams calls, they're doing all this kind of stuff. And some of this data is getting out there. And some of these, some of these companies, some of these businesses don't have all these measures in place to secure themselves. So this is where the vCISO comes into the picture. They're here to there to like look out for your company, and there's some disadvantages to hiring these individuals because they are for the most part kind of off the street, or so they're not part of your company. So they likely need time to understand the culture and business operations of the company. So they need to learn about your operations, how everything works. They have to do some assessments, and it's going to take some time to spin them up on everything that's going on there. And second, depending on the contractual agreements, a company can have unrealistic expectations that they are getting a full-time person for the cost of somebody that's doing less than 20% of the work. So they're kind of like part-time, but they're getting paid like a full-time employee, which I wouldn't mind doing myself. But that's something that these companies have to consider, especially these CISOs. I can't say it, but they have, I'm sure they have top dollar paychecks. These guys are making, over $200,000 a year for their services. So these guys are making some bank. And obviously these people, I think the good thing about them is that they obviously are going around. They've seen like a lot of businesses. If you get somebody that's experienced, they're going around to a lot of different companies, so they kind of know a lot of what other businesses are doing, what they've had success with, and they've identified as some failures. And so it's kind of like it is a good resource in that respect, that they have that experience and that knowledge of other companies, and they're not like they've been working for the same company for 80 years and they haven't seen anything else that they can relate to or kind of use as a business case or a good example of how to do a proper security response. So that's pretty much the gist of the story. But did you guys have some ideas or some thoughts on how this operation works?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So I like everything you said. You took all the good stuff out of the article because you're such an optimist, with your optimistic self over there.
Right.
They lost me with this paragraph. It's only like 2 sentences. It says, for a fraction of the salary for full-time CISO, companies can hire a vCISO, which is an outsourced security practitioner, all the stuff that you said, on an ongoing, typically part-time basis with the same skill set and expertise of the conventional CISO. No, you can't. No, I'm not gonna work 2-3 CISO jobs. Like I don't want it to go. I don't want it to go that way. Is my concern. Like if you want to hire me to be your part-time CISO at full-time pay, okay.
Right. It's like, I'll
we
take
can do this. We can do it. Like, but I would like my preference, of course, would be I want you to onboard me into your company, so I have a vested interest and make sure it's secure, and then we can have a very great partnership going forward. If you're just hiring me at a fraction of what I cost, you're going to get a fraction of that partnership, because I have 2 or 3 other companies to also do remotely at that point. maybe as a part-time hustle, it might work. Like I'm a full-time CISO somewhere else, or ISSM or something like that, and then I'm a part-time CISO over here. But if this is what the industry is going towards, yo, I'm upset.
Right.
What about you, Shannon?
So I'll tell you, I actually this was the one that turned me off. Actually, you had a different paragraph from the one I saw. So there's a spot in here that says many in-house IT departments are multifaceted and may not have the time or resources to properly manage all IT functions, especially as they relate to information security. Then you don't need to be in the game. Like that's my thinking of that, right? Like if
Right.
that's where you are, get out of the
Right.
game, or outsource it completely to someone else, right? That can provide you the services you need. Don't try to half-ass it, and then you run into the situation where, because here's the thing, I don't believe you can have a part-time CISO. Like that is a full-time job. Like if you were doing what you were supposed to be doing, you need to be available all the time, right?
Yeah.
Any type of any type of attack on the company, or some type of cybersecurity incident or something like that, it can happen any time of the day or night, right? So if I have my full-time job where I'm working 8 to 5 for somebody else, and this other company tries to call me at 9 o'clock, I can't do that. More than likely, I can't do that anyway. I'm on another company's time, right? So then I have to tell you, wait till 5:30 when I get home, and then we can address this, right? As more time goes by, which is not what you want either, right? Like if you have some type of security incident or something needs to be handled by a CISO, it needs to be addressed right then and there as quickly as possible, right? I can't be giving you part-time hours, or say only contact me during this time frame, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
if you're hiring someone for CISO expertise, they have the expertise to be valuable somewhere else on a full-time basis, right? Like you were talking about, Ryan, it just
Right.
side hustle or whatever. That's what got me. And like I said, with the paragraph that I read, you can't be in the game then if you don't have the resources or you can't fully support it. Is my thinking behind it.
Yeah. You're basically Donnell Jones, right? All her love, half her time. No, man. Like, I'm sitting there sad playing the piano. He was looking to the restaurant, he has hand on the glass. He was looking at the restaurant, singing to her.
Yeah.
You got people that are gonna have to try to find the video now, right? Like
Oh man,
not
it's
everybody's
hilarious.
gonna get the reference.
If I could sing, I would sing that part. It's hilarious. He's out there scatting at the window. I don't know. I think it's. I just don't think it's a good way to move forward, because, like you said, it's a full-time job,
Yeah.
and then you're going to want to fault the CISO when you get your breach, because you don't have the people, so you don't have the IT department, because you can't afford them either. You don't have the CISO full-time, and then when you get ransomware, now it's his or her fault. So there's too much risk on all fronts. It doesn't make sense to me. But
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe they get quick with it. Maybe it's some kind of automation. Maybe I'm in a call center of CISOs.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You
You're
know what I
surrounded by
mean? Like,
CISOs.
with the auto dialer, like I'm telemarketer. I don't know.
That's right. I think that's a good point, though, that you guys were making, that the obviously, companies that don't have a security team in place are already kind of like in a, I don't know, kind of shooting themselves in the foot right off the gate. Uh, and obviously, if they're like waiting for something to happen, and then they're going to call this guy like, "Hey, I need your help now. Something broke." They're gonna have to like either, I don't know, they're gonna be spending so much money, just we're kind of wasting money, just trying to call this person every other day, trying to figure out what's going on in their system. Something breaks all of a sudden. But these people should not be in the game if they don't have their stuff maintained and secured, especially depending on what their business is. If it's handling like customer data, customer information, I mean, that's just asking for trouble, and that's asking like to get sued, or to end up getting sued, or having your business shut down because you didn't properly protect somebody's data, and it got out there, and then their life got ruined or what have you. So that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock it now until I think of a genius idea how to do it.
Yeah.
Like a vCISO platform.
Yeah.
Subcontract CISOs or something. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
No clue. But moving on to how I don't understand how things work. Let's go with topic number 2 with Shannon.
All right, this one. So it's going to be two articles I reference here, right? The first one's from the BBC. Says hackers try to poison water supply of this Florida city, right? And when I saw this, Ryan, I know you got some peeps, down in that area and whatnot. And I
Yeah.
was like, hey, how close are you to this? You know what I mean? When I saw
Yeah,
this,
I had to Google it. I was like, I don't know.
yeah, because I was like down in Florida. I was like, I know somebody that got family in Florida. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what happened was a hacker increased the amount of sodium hydroxide, which was lye, in the city of Oldsmar's water treatment system.
Yeah.
Workers spotted it and reversed the action. Right. So um, so here's the thing: there is a little bit in your drinking water anyway, right? But it's one of those things where it's this many parts per million, right? And they just went way over and above because the content's usually 100 parts per million, and it was up to 11,000 parts per million, right? So the second article I'm going to reference on this, and this is why we bring it up, not necessarily for the hacking, but for something that we do all the time. It's from Engadget.com, right? So hacked Florida water plant used shared passwords and Windows 7 PCs. Oh my gosh, right? Like how often, how seriously, how often do we say, okay, keep your stuff up to date, do this, do that, you know what I mean? Because when it comes to Microsoft's product, right? I'm not saying they have a bad product. 90 some odd percent of the world uses Microsoft's product. It is a good product, right? But Windows 7, all right. First off, Microsoft usually does about a 10-year run of doing support, right? Before they come up on end of life on their products. And for Windows 7, I want to say it was the end of 2009, I think it was. So you had until about 2019 or like January 2020, I think it was, when they stopped supporting Windows 7 with updates, right? But they've given you another product. It's not like they stopped supporting it and saying, okay, well, you're just out whatever, right? They gave you another product. They've had different operating systems that they stay patched with all the time already, right? So th- it kills me, and I've seen this not just here, but I've seen this in other places too, right? With having Windows operating systems that are older because the developers are lazy is what it comes down to, right? Like they don't want to come up and go to the newest product because it's more work for them. It's better for them to just maintain and keep this as it is. um, I've seen it before where companies have reached out to Microsoft to say, "Hey, Microsoft will support you with older systems if you pay them," right? But it's one of those things where is that a good use of your money, right? And again, nothing against Microsoft, right? They're taking time to have their people come out and do something to try to protect something that they no longer support, right? So they have to be able to pay to get that work done. I have no problem with that. My point is that they have provided other operating systems and patches for you to be able to do what you need to do effectively. Now, the shared passwords thing, this is another thing, right? Even like this is a problem just from an auditing perspective. So even if it wasn't a way that they got in, when it comes to auditing, if you have shared passwords, you don't know who did what at what time, right? If there's a
Right.
group of 10 of us that are using the same group password, you don't know who came in at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday when nobody should have been there, or when one person wasn't supposed to be there and went in and did whatever they did. So that's something that it shouldn't even have been an issue for this. It shouldn't have been something they were doing, period, just from an auditing perspective of what they need to do. But in,
Right.
in these articles, they actually mention about how, uh, you know, water plants and different infrastructure things are they're kind of vulnerable, right? Like this one was hooked up hooked up to the internet first off, right?
Hmm.
So it's one
Right.
of those things where if you're going to do something like this that's important when it comes to utilities and things like that, you would think it would be standalone of some type, right? That controls whatever systems are there. But that was not the case in this instance. So it kind of baffled me when I saw this. Like, man, how are we still doing this? And how is this still happening in 2021? Right. And again,
Hmm.
like with the 10-year thing with Microsoft's operating system, that's not a secret, right? Like Microsoft tells you that. Like once this gets released, you'll get about 10 years worth before we're like, okay, end of life. And they tell you notices at least a year in advance, like, hey, this is not going to be supported. They keep reminding you this is not going to be supported. This is not going to be supported. So,
Hmm.
I mean, we can't
Hmm.
put this on Microsoft. We got to put this on the company themselves for not protecting like they should have. You know what I mean? What you got
Hmm.
on this, Levon?
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say. Yeah, and I noticed as well in the article that like kind of bridging off what you just were talking about. Um, Apparently, they also maybe had used TeamViewer to access some of to actually maybe take control of the desktop. Um, so I wonder, I just kind of glancing through the Engadget article. They mentioned that, that they were moving the cursor on the screen, and that's when the person kind of saw that what they were trying to do, and they quickly like grabbed the mouse, like, "Oh, what are you doing? Whoa, hold up!" And so they kind of stopped it from, manipulating these water levels. And yeah, I think it's just like, it's just like, obviously it's kind of like it's a poor, I think a poor job of this particular plant to properly secure. Um, and I don't like bad mouthing any company or anything like that, but just they have to reevaluate how they're handling their cybersecurity and just updates in general, just the kind of basic things that anybody should be doing. Even at your home computer, you should be updating your computer. You probably want to decide to get off Windows 7 that's not really supported any longer. You probably want to go ahead and upgrade to maybe the latest and greatest so that you have a properly secured system. And obviously with the password sharing thing, that's just, it's kind of a basic knowledge that you don't share a password. You don't share your password with your bank account to anybody else, or maybe your wife or something, but you don't put that out to an entire company. So I don't think you should be doing this in this situation. So you can maintain accountability. If somebody's doing something incorrectly, they do something malicious, that exactly what account did it and who did it. Sharing like some sort of like service account that everybody can access is not the way, a proper way of securing their stuff. So I think it's an interesting story. I think it's kind of funny that, I just looking at the article, I and just knowing how TeamViewer works, I've used that. I've used that every now and then. So like when I'm troubleshooting my mom's computer, I'll connect to her computer via TeamViewer. So it's very like robust. It's very, pretty easy to use. And it seems like if they had a password to TeamViewer, that's pretty much all they would need to be able to access the system. I really wonder if it really was even the Windows 7, any vulnerabilities within the Windows 7 itself, or just the access that they had the password for TeamViewer and they just connected and able to move the cursor around. That's all you really need to actually access the system like that. But nonetheless, it just they need to get off of Windows 7. They need to secure their passwords, and they need to I think those are the main two things. And then they just need to make sure they're keeping everything up to date, patching, and make sure everything's secure. But I think that's my thoughts on that. You have anything on that, Ryan?
Yeah, I was not surprised. I was surprised of its location because Oldsmar is really close to Tampa, so I was like, oh, that's a problem. But I wasn't surprised because I want to say back when we were in Virginia together, there was talk of like SCADA systems needed to be more robust. There was vulnerabilities in the power grid. They didn't really talk about water, but you kind of figure any industrial system that's providing the service all had their share of being outdated and needing repair and whatnot. And they were talking about like, we need more. This is before they even said we need more IT professionals. They're like, we need more people who understand SCADA systems to revamp these because bad actors or nation states can get in here. I'm surprised it took this long to like. That's my surprise. It took this long to get there. Thankfully, at least nobody was asleep at the wheel. You know what I mean? Like, yes, their systems were not robust. Like, I don't understand. Like, is there no radius servers, no TACACs? Like, how are you authenticating people? And then on top of it, like you said, Windows 7 systems, like they might as well have like Windows ME running or something, like because they're all out of date, right? Like, you don't have the most up to date operating system, but just it not being air gapped. Like, how do you have something that has the ability to poison millions of people,
right?
Touch the internet.
Right. Yeah, I meant to say that too. That's a really good point. I don't understand why this system's on the internet.
Like, why is it not air gapped? Like, so all this stuff I think is going to come to fruition, like, because this is just a test run. Like, we saw it happen, and now we know we need to burn it to the ground and start over. Because like Florida has its issues, but they're not the poorest of states. So I mean, if it happened there, it can happen anywhere, right? Oldsmar's not that far away from Tampa. It's right next to a major hub. So that's what about backwards? I'm not gonna name a state, offend somebody, but it's other states near Florida that probably are even less robust. Like, and then it scales from there. So what if they want to do this in New York? You know what I mean? Like, we had another Flint, Michigan type situation. I through the poisoning. So yeah, I don't get it. I like this show like makes me excited about future career opportunities because there's so many vacant jobs. There's no way they had a sizzle. But whoever this man or woman was that saved the day, he or she needs a medal because that person wasn't there for play. Like he was really going to poison. He or she was really going to poison people.
Yeah.
And just be okay with it. So
Right. Yeah, that's true.
It's wild out there. Like y'all need me. Like
it will prompt some changes. Something else they mentioned in the article that we didn't say was that they didn't have any type of firewall solution either, right? So you can't be connected to the internet and not have any type of firewall solution. Like how is that?
When was it built? Is my question. Like when was the system built?
I don't know how long Oldsmar's been a city with a water treatment plant.
And no Windows Defender, at least something. McAfee running in the background. Come on, like I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like there's so many things. Like when they go through the checklist of all the things that are wrong, they can be like, "Yo, who is our security person?" I bet you they don't exist.
Right. I think they probably like like you said, no security person, probably just random persons kind of set up their network, and they probably made it nice and convenient so that they can access the water system from their house, so that they don't have to come in and do something like, I'm kind of tired today. I don't feel like coming to work, so I just get on my computer, connect to the team viewer, just modify these sodium levels or whatever, and then go play with the kids.
I can believe it. That sounds like not to offend anybody out there, but that sounds like an engineer. Like they have all the keys to the kingdom, and they don't think of the security part. They think about the efficiency part. Like, yes, that would be very efficient. Like COVID hit, I can do everything I need to do from the house, and then he or she probably got their password compromised, like you said, using the RDP. What system did they use to remote in?
Team viewer.
Yeah, they probably got the keys to the kingdom, and then they went in and did a test run.
Yeah.
Luckily somebody was like, because you got to think, like, I don't know, from my perspective, like working at a water treatment plant is probably boring. Like I'm in there playing my PSP or my
playing a Game Boy and Nintendo Switch or something.
You see the arrow scroll?
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I could see them like scrambling, like grabbing the mouse, like what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's an interesting story though. It's like so much wrong with it. Like you guys were mentioning, I just think the whole air gap thing is just kind of surprising to me. I mean, I can understand some sort of like network functionality maybe internally, but maybe not so much like connecting to the web and internet and all this kind of stuff for remote access.
Right.
Especially if they don't have anything like, they don't have any kind of like security mechanism in place, no firewalls, no, I don't know, intrusion detection system, something to the effect that they're maintaining and watching traffic coming to the network. It just seems like just a lot of no-nos. And I wonder how many other systems, how many other water plants, power plants, whatever like important like social or government like installations have like these type of systems that are on the internet that are not patched properly, that are open, that are just waiting for somebody to kind of compromise if they haven't compromised them already.
Yeah, I would say potentially it was a system that was monitored by SolarWinds maybe, and they had to stand down for a while, and maybe that's how they didn't see it. But if you have Windows 7 and group accounts and remote desktop, you probably didn't have a monitoring software.
Right.
So
right.
There probably is no excuse. I'm just trying to think of like, why would this government agency not monitor their system? But
trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's very like,
and save all that money too. They'd be like, oh yeah, our engineer is our CISO. You'd be like,
right. right. The same person managing the water systems is the CISO.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's money to be made out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's a job for all of us. So many vacancies.
That's right. You can do it. Yeah. That's crazy though.
I think that's a good conclusion to doom and gloom article we had there.
Everybody go get some water right now, just to drink it up. Like we still can never know when somebody's gonna get into the system and just like put some, I don't know. Put some
Yeah,
chemicals in it for you.
I lived somewhere where they put too much fluoride in the water one time. They had to shut it down. That was in Alaska.
Mm.
They made a mistake. They put 100 times the amount of sodium, or no, I'm sorry, 100 times the amount of fluoride in there, which I don't think it won't kill you quick and make you sick, make your teeth fall out. So they had to stop. They had to put signs on every door, tell everybody don't drink the water, drink bottled water,
Wow.
until they were able to
Dang.
flush the system.
Oh wow.
Mm,
That's crazy.
yep. And I was like, fluoride makes your teeth fall out? I thought fluoride was good for your teeth. But I guess,
That's what they keep putting on
moderation.
it. Yeah, that's what they keep putting on it when you go to the dentist, right? Like,
Yeah,
Right.
not good.
everything in moderation.
So I know
Right.
I've talked to people that I was never stationed there, but in Europe, they used to get fluoride tablets because they don't treat their water with it. So like they would have service members that were stationed in Europe and they would give them fluoride tablets to put in their water and whatnot to kind of
Mhm.
help them out with that. So
I got to talk to a dentist about that. Like, because what did people do before there was fluoride? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Right.
well, they
Right.
died. They died in their 40s.
that is true. That is true. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's because of
Was
the
that the reason? Yeah, was that the reason?
Right.
It is
Right.
Lack of fluoride? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it
I
a
don't
healthy balance?
know.
Yeah.
I think they need to hire me to be a medical professional. Like they hire people to be CISOs and stuff. Like you don't need experience. You
Yeah.
just need
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Like you don't need fluoride here. Have some of this sodium. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people.
Has some of this
Right.
snake oil.
Snake oil. That's right.
So I think it's a good time to talk about. So what have you guys been watching or playing this past week?
So I've been getting into. I've been really enjoying Warrior on HBO Max. This one's about uh, I kind of described about it last week, but it's a Chinese pretty much immigrant coming to the States. Obviously, not obviously, but he knows some martial arts. He's pretty much it's a Bruce Lee storyline that he came up with before he passed away. The story that he wanted to produce, or show he wanted to produce, and but they're just now coming out with it, and they've done really great job on that. I think so far it's like really engaging. It's very like kind of edgy. It's got like some crazy killing scenes of people using martial arts and people making love and all this kind of stuff, some crazy mess. But it's really entertaining. I think it's really good. I think you guys probably enjoy it if you guys like I don't semi-violent series with
I do.
gangs
Like
and like yeah, you got some gangs in there, like these two like Chinese gangs going after each other, and you got like the police officers that are kind of corrupt, and some of them are good, trying to look out for the people, and then people like get these immigrants out of my country type stuff, and kind of symbolizes some of the stuff going on in the States today. But it's kind of interesting to watch. I think it's really enjoyable. That's what I've been watching, and I've been playing some Yakuza 0 on.
okay.
I've been playing on that on my Xbox, and it's pretty badass. I like it so far. It's been really entertaining. It's very like story driven, and it's like really fun fighting and all this kind of stuff. Those have been my two big things last week here, but I've been dabbling in some Destiny, and yeah, playing a little bit of Destiny 2 on the Xbox as well. But yeah, I need to get back into Miles Morales. I started that a little while ago, but I've been trying to clear out some of my queue. But I want to get back to Miles Morales. My wife just got me that for the PlayStation a little while back, so I'm gonna finish that one off too. But that's been my main stuff I've been playing lately. How about you guys? You guys got anything you're watching or playing?
So I just want to put it out there that Shannon was not the one that said he likes to watch violence. Okay, put that out in the digital world.
Ryan did say that.
I ain't saying no names, but I'm just eliminating Shannon from the digital landscape. He likes to watch violence. I'm all for it, you know.
Violent shows.
We like.
I actually have not played video games in a while. I actually started rewatching this show Elementary. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. It's a Sherlock Holmes thing.
I've heard that.
Modern
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I've actually seen the series before, but I started watching it again. Like I like stuff like that. Like I watched the BBC version of Sherlock that has Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
Mm.
I've watched this one. Like I like the Sherlock Holmes stuff. You know, I've seen the movies with Robert Downey Jr. You know, I like those.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good.
Stuff like that. But I've really just been rewatching that. I honestly I don't know if I have bought the video games up on the new TV since I bought it. I gotta actually do that to see how that looks actually.
Mm.
I mean I got a previous gen console. I ain't in the next gen.
Dang. Wow, dang. That's a shame.
I still want to see it on 75 inches, you know what I mean, to see what that looks
That's
like.
true. That's true.
But
That's
no, that's
nice.
I mean, I hope so. I hope so, right? Like eventually I'll get that next gen and be wowed by it, right? But yeah, no,
That's right.
that's kind of all I've been doing is I went and got Hulu Live last week. So actually it was the day of the Super Bowl, actually. So I watched the Super Bowl, which was a little disappointing, but I mean it is what it is. But
yeah. I wanted that to be a little bit more back and forth. It's too one-sided. That was like a
here's the thing. Give the Bucks their credit. They won the game, right? But like
right.
Kansas City was at a disadvantage, right? You had offensive linemen gone. You had Patrick Mahomes like limping around out there. Like it wasn't what it was supposed to be based off how it was advertised. So
right.
There was a lot going on.
He would have been he could have potentially been well rested had he not played against the Bills.
Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted?
No, I want anybody but Brady to win. And he won again. That's what Brady does.
Right.
No, but I felt good for Bruce Arians though. That's the thing. So like the coach of the Buccaneers, like I like him. Like he's one of those guys that he was an offensive coordinator. So he was an offensive coordinator around Andrew Luck, Ben Roethlisberger. I'm missing one. There's one I'm missing. Was it Kurt Warner? I think Kurt Warner when he went out to Arizona. Like he has been around a lot of successful quarterbacks, and it took him a while to get a head coaching job. Actually he got his first head coaching job when I'm trying to remember his name. Pagano of the Colts got sick. He had leukemia, I think it was, and he had to miss a year, and then he filled in and actually won Coach of the Year. Bruce Arians actually got Coach of the Year when he filled in for the Colts because they again with Andrew Luck, like he's the quarterback whisperer. So I was good to see. It was good to see Bruce Arians get his. You know, no risk it, no biscuit. But yeah, like it didn't do anything to cement Tom Brady's legacy. Like you can already arguably say he's the GOAT. I know you don't want to hear that being a Bills fan, Ryan. I know, but
he is. But don't make me like him though. Like I respect the game. I respect his ethic. Right. But he beat us up for way too long. Can't enjoy his games.
Yeah, but y'all doing your thing now though, man.
Trying to. It should be a good season. Coming up. Like I'm excited. Like I think we'll go back. But again, we still have Mahomes. He'll be back. You know what I mean? Like the Ravens are a problem. They'll be back. Like we got our division's not the problem. It's once we get out of our division, it starts getting rough out there.
I don't know about us, man. We got an offensive tackle that says he's a left tackle and wants to. He hasn't said he wants to be gone, but we already have a left tackle. He filled in the left tackle when Ronnie Stanley got hurt, so he's like, I'm a left tackle. That's what I do. So we can't move him back to the right side. He ain't gonna be happy about it. So we're probably gonna lose him, and that's gonna hurt, right? Like if we run so much, I don't want Lamar Jackson to be running because he has no protection. You know what I mean? I don't want it to look like Mahomes on Sunday, right? Like as soon as he get the ball, it's like, oh man, I got to run 40 yards before I do a Superman and throw the ball. You know what I mean?
Right. Then it bonks off of somebody's helmet, like they
try
to catch.
You saw that meme where he was breaking out the pocket every time.
Right.
Helmet.
Guys are missing balls. Like what the heck?
His receivers were not helping him out that much either. But
yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, the refs. I hate to do this, right? Like Kansas City's defense is not stout, but the referees had it out for them on Sunday, and I don't know why. Like
that's really where they lost the game
over stuff that I was like, what? Like, are we really doing this right now? So
you still got to score touchdowns though.
Yes, but again, like their offensive line was beat up. Mahomes had surgery on Tuesday or Wednesday for his toe. Like turf toe didn't Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? Like there's guys whose careers have ended off turf toe. You know what I mean? So He went and had surgery for it Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day it was. So, I mean, he was injured. Offensive line was hurt. Receivers are dropping balls. You know what I mean? When he's running
Right.
around for 40 yards and then getting it to him. So, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with, and it happened.
Yeah.
But give the Bucks their credit, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did it. They did it.
Yeah,
You think he's going to come back? He's coming back next season. Get 8 rings. You can try to get 10 rings. You can try to get the gauntlet, 2 gauntlets.
Well, you got
2 Infinity Stone gauntlets.
I mean, it's a different. I know people have seen the Jordan picture where he has his 6 rings on there, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen the one with Bill Russell. Bill Russell has 11 rings.
Yeah.
Like Bill Russell
damn.
has one. Yeah, like it's like doubling up on fingers.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, man. Like Bill Russell's got 11. He's like, hey, don't forget about me.
Don't forget about me. I'm in there.
He retook that picture because they're trying to say which one's the GOAT. Is it Jordan or is it Brady? And then it's a picture of him in the middle with all the rings.
that picture is old. Like that picture is a few years old where he did that, like where he had 11. I was like, yeah, let's not forget that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's very true.
Damn.
What have I been playing or doing? So I don't have a show really to watch. I'm trying to find a show to watch. So I might start the Warrior up. So is Warrior subbed or dubbed, or is it a native English? Like what?
So they do like a really good job in that. So what they do is it's pretty much all English, but what they do is like they do like this cool effect where somebody will be talking English, like actually a Chinese actor. We're talking to another Chinese actor that's, you know, in the show they're both Chinese. They're from China. They don't speak English, and so they'll be starting to talk in Mandarin or Cantonese, and then the camera will like shift, and then all of a sudden they're starting to talk in English, and they're actually, because these actors are actually they're dual language. They're like bilingual, so they actually speak both languages, but the camera will shift and like it'll kind of cross behind them, and all of a sudden they're speaking English, and so it's like it kind of gives, because people, you know, most people don't like to read subtitles a lot, so they kind of shift and the actors will start speaking English, and then they do that for most part of the series. 90% of it is in English, and then sometimes they start speaking in Cantonese or Mandarin, and then they're shift into like the English. But they kind of show you when there's some conflicts where the English or the Americans don't know what the Chinese people are saying, so they're trying to make sure that you're kind of aware that they're speaking another language now and they're not speaking English, even though they're conversating, but it's in English, but they're actually speaking Chinese, so the English person can't understand them.
Gotcha.
They kind of do that so you're not having to read subtitles the entire time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably add that one.
October. That's like Hunt for Red October. You ever seen Hunt for Red October?
Oh, I've never seen
that. They started in Russian when they were speaking, and just transitions to English. But the rest of the movie is in English, though. But yeah.
Gotcha. I have to see that one. Yeah, I know that's a good movie too. I've never seen it though.
Yeah, so I'll probably add that to my list. I've been watching 7 Deadly Sins, the anime on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. I have to catch
so
up on that.
I never gave it a shot. I watched like maybe 2 episodes, and I was like, it's too much fan service. It's not for me. But somebody told me, he was like, no, get through half of the first season. So I did, and now I'm on like the 3rd season. So it's like, okay, I get you. Like it is very fan servicey, but actual storyline does pick up, and it does get a lot better.
Yeah.
But I'm still doing it in dubbed, just so I can do my work at the same time. Just it's disgusting.
Yeah, how dare you? I totally understand that. I prefer to watch all the animes in subtitle, just because sometimes the English actors are just like terrible, but
it's very true.
I understand.
Or the same actor.
Yeah, right. For sure. But I can't hate you on that. So you're trying to multitask.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep rocking with that, and then I'll probably add Warrior or whatnot. But I actually been playing a game. I started Control, because it was a PS Plus game for the month.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Janet Jackson's Control. No, it's not Janet Jackson, but but it's actually really good. I'm a big fan of Remedy games like Max Payne. I never really got into Alan Wake, but I know it's really good. But this one, it threw me off because I didn't expect for it to play the way it plays. Like mechanically it's sound, but the story is very Fargo or Twin Peaks. You know what I mean? Like it has that campiness happening. Like I like it. I like it, but it's just not. I didn't expect it. Like you'll walk into a room and then it's just humongous subtitles will pop up on the screen.
Right.
Throw you off. People like, what? What's
Like,
happening?
who's talking? Yeah. Where's this voice coming from?
Yeah, though the
Actually,
voices creep me out. The voices do creep me out though. Like I'm in here
yeah.
by myself, and then they
Yeah.
talk in whispers. So they're like, but
Right.
they're actually saying something. So you're
Right.
like, what are they saying?
Right. Trying to listen into it. Yeah. I'm about to say it. I've been playing that one as well. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like it though, and it plays well. I'm playing on a PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
It only froze one time. I walked into a big atrium. I was like in the research sector. I went down the staircase and it just froze, but they're still
Oh, dang.
whispering. So it was so my character's like this. He's like,
Right.
he's like, this devil stuff off.
Did
Right.
you scare and turn all your lights on? Like,
I was gonna
oh,
say,
I
sounds
got a
scary.
switch in my hand. I was like, like hell nah.
That's scary. Hey, what's going on? The game's coming alive. It's like,
Yeah, but it's fun. So I'm going through that. So
yeah.
just trying to take a break, man, because I get in this class, it's gonna be rough. The class itself costs $7,000, I want to say,
Mm.
because they provide you with 4 months worth of material, all the ebooks, as well as it's supposed to be a stellar remote laboratory. Because you remember CEH, we learn about the tools, watch videos about the tools, but you don't really use the tools. In this one, you use the tools. You'll be actual analyst when by the time you get done.
Wow. Dang.
It's
Yeah.
You said
a SANS course? SANS?
Yeah, it's GCFA is the what it's called. So it's like I think it's like FOR 508 is the class number. But they say it's a lot of material, and because it's a 3-hour open book exam. That's how hard it is.
wow.
Are you gonna give me the books? Like
Give
I
you
had
the
a
books. Good luck.
yeah, I had a coworker. Yeah, I had a coworker. He said it took all 3 hours, and he
Yeah.
actually had marked all his books out with tabs so you could find stuff. So it still took him the whole time.
Yeah.
So even
That's
if I
crazy.
I plan on passing because it's a lot of money, but even if I didn't pass, it'll still give me a lot of knowledge I don't have. So they fill in some gaps.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy though. Open book
If it goes
and it's still 3 hours. Yeah.
they'll be like, not this time.
Right.
They said they have vouchers though. They were like, hey, we got vouchers we need to get rid of. I was like, bet. I want
Give me that. Give me that voucher.
So we'll see.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun though. I think you have fun with that one. I think I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly which exam it was. It might have been either the certified ethical hacker or the computer forensic investigator. I want to say that was one of those tests were like longer than I think it was about maybe they gave you like 2.5 or 3 hours or something like that on that one too. But it was still like all multiple choice. They didn't give you like open book or anything, but I think it was just like a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's probably because I still haven't taken CHFI. Like every time I go to take it, something else pops up. So I was gonna go take it, and I had to renew my CCNA. Then I was gonna go take it, and then I got into Greenbelt training. And then I was lining up again, and then they're like, "Hey, we got vouchers." Like,
Yeah, you're like, oh, they give you. Oh, I'm sorry. I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say I just looked it up, and they give you 4 hours for that test. And it's
for CHFI.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, test duration 4 hours. Number of questions 150. Multiple choice. Yeah, there's a lot of questions on the thing. I give you 4 hours. I mean, not to say that you have to take a whole 4 hours, but that's how much time they give you.
That's a long time. That's like CISSP is 4 hours, I think, right? Shannon, is it 4 hours?
I think it's
150 questions.
I think it's 3, but it's remember it's adaptable, right? So you can go up to that many questions. You have so many that are just beta questions, but it could stop at 100. It could stop at 150. But 3 hours, I think is what it is. I think it's 3. 180.
So both times 150.
Yeah.
All 150.
Passing is passing. That's all that
Right.
matters.
That's right.
That's a lot of questions.
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
But I think that wraps this show. I appreciate y'all. As always, let me
Oh, yeah.
flip. I always do this. I start talking before why don't I open up the thing before I start talking? That would be the smart thing to do. So shout out to our Patreon patron. So Anthony Cater for his support on the show. And thank you for those listening to on the free feeds. Last but not least, thank you to Shannon. Thank you to Levon for co-hosting the show. Thank y'all for doing this video. So hopefully it takes.
That's right.
So if so, you guys will see it the week after Valentine's Day is when it'll go to free feeds. So it'll only be up there for Anthony, but hopefully he'll invite some friends. We get some more people in there in the Patreon. I think video will help also get us out there. People love video. Video is king when it comes to social media. So chop this up, take some funny parts out. Maybe. I keep saying that. And then the audio will go where the audio normally goes. So we two fronts, right? Attack it from two fronts. And see where we go from there. So where can you find us? So you have the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. You have our Patreon, The Other Side of the Firewall. You have our Twitter @_firewall. The Facebook page, the Facebook group are also The Other Side of the Firewall. The Instagram is The Other Side of the FW. And now that I have video, I'll actually put something on there. And then our Twitters, I'm Ry Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. And Levon?
Regular ass Levon Maynard. No, don't put the regular ass in there, but just Levon Maynard. Levon LEVON MAYNARD. Hit me up if you want to just to chat.
It is. You can find Shannon on Signal.
That's right.
Great
Signal. Get access to his messaging on Signal.
But I appreciate y'all, and it's always fun. Every week is fun. So
that's right.
I'll let you later.
That's for sure.
Easy.
Take care.
Take care.